One of the worst feelings in the world is a freaking low bank balance. I was a couple years into my business and we did well in the beginning and I was starting to make some money. Then all of a sudden, I started to not pay attention to my money. And my best friend in the world was a hedge fund guy. And I remember being in the parking lot late one night talking to him and be like, hey, dude, I'm out of money. I don't know what to do. And he started teaching me about why I had no money, right? And it was because I was making money, but I wasn't paying attention to, after I made money, where does all that money go and get allocated? So what I want to do is share with you, if you do make money, right, which is what you want to do, where does it all go, right? Because you may be thinking, I got profit, there's some money left. All right, I see some profit, I see that I'm making money, but where's all the cash? And so that's kind of what we're gonna unpack today, very quickly. Now, just some basics, right? You have your revenue, which is the money that you make. You have your expenses, right? The money that you spend. This is broken down into three categories: fixed, variable, and payroll. Your fixed expenses are your rent, your insurance, the things that you really can't change. Your variable expenses are the things that you can change, right? You can change how much you're spending on marketing. You can change any subscriptions you have. You can change, whatever you can change goes under variable expenses. And the most important one is payroll, okay? And typically that's going to be anywhere from, depending on the stage that your business is in, anywhere from 20 to 40%, 40% being the top, right? So in this circumstance, if our revenue is 20K, we don't want our payroll to go over 8K because that's 40%. So you kind of want to be aware of that number. In the beginning, it's not that big of a deal, but as your business grows, it becomes much more of an important number to pay attention to. Okay, so that's your payroll relative to revenue, top line. Okay, so straightforward, and what that produces is profit, right? So we have 20 in revenue, 15 in expenses, and then 5,000 bucks left over in profit. And we're thinking, yep, good for me, 5K, let's go to the mall, whatever you want to do. And the answer is don't do that, because you don't get to keep all that 5K, okay? It's got to go a couple places. It's got to go three places, okay? First place it's got to go is tax, all right? You got to pay tax on that $5,000 that you make that month. We're going to call it 30%, all right? We're going to pay $1,500 in tax. Ideally, and I'm not a huge profit first guy, but ideally there is an account that you have a separate that's tax. And as you make the money, as the profit comes in, you take that money and you shift it out into a tax account. And then when your accountant comes and you're like, hey bro, you owe me some money, you're like, oh no, I got it over here. It's in this little next, instead of keeping it all in one place. It's very helpful. The second thing is retained earnings. What is retained earnings? Well, this is the money that you need to invest back into your business. The first place it needs to be reinvested is what's called a cash cushion. Okay, my best friend in the world, Mike Waldron, the CFO of Carmel Valley, talks always about having a minimum of 3 months of cash in your bank account. And so if you don't have that, you want to be funneling money in retained earnings, and that's putting money back into the business. Now, that's not money just for security purposes that you know you got money if something crap hits the fan, but it's also money that you reinvest back into your business, into things like marketing, into things like improvements in your facility. The best money you could ever spend is investing it in the business that does two things. One, helps you get new clients. Two, helps you keep the clients you've got. Okay, so we want to spend money on what's called income producing assets. That's what we want to spend our money on. And that is where you're going to get the best return on your business, is to be able to invest money that either keeps clients or gets new clients. And the last piece is your dividend. That's the money that you get to keep. So you don't get to keep 5K, but you do get to keep 2K. That is yours. Now you can put it away and sock it away in savings, smart. You can spend it whenever you want, but you can also pay off debt, right? If you have debt, it would go under that money as well. So that's why when you think, oh, I made 5K, and then a little while later, you're like, where'd that 5K go? Well, it went here, okay? But in the reality is you want to be intentional with this stuff. You want to know where your money is going. Now, guys, I'm not a finance guy. I'm not an accountant. This is stuff, I'm much better at seeing a barbell and being like 3 plates on each side. Yep, that's 315. I'm much better at that stuff. But at the end of the day, this stuff is important. This is your money. We opened this business. We became a business owner to make some money. And the accounting is the language of business. That's what this is. And we got to start understanding this. We got to start looking at these statements, your profit and loss statement, a cash flow statement, a balance sheet. And I know it's not easy. I know it's actually hard. But as we start to move forward in this business, and as you start to grow, you got to have your finger on the pulse of this. And so this is just some real basic stuff for you to know and to look at to help you keep more of the money, right? It's easy to make money. It's hard to keep money. And when you have a really good knowledge base of your numbers, you're going to be able to keep more of the money you're making.